I guess we'll get started. I know it's a little past 7 now. I know Sarah Parks, she's going to be attending this, but she's a little, I think she might be coming back from her surgery. She had a couple puppies that had to go to surgery, so she said she was going to Zoom from the car. So I'm sure she'll be, oh, there she is. Let me admit her in. Okay. Hey, Sarah, are you there?
I am here.
Rebecca.
Okay, great.
Hey, how are you, Lexi? Oh, hang on. Start video. There we go.
There we go.
Pretty much everybody's muted just so we don't have a lot of interference. But there will be the chat up.
Fine.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, so I first want to start off by saying welcome, and I'm glad y'all took the time to join our meeting. What else do you have to do, right? No, I'm kidding. So our mission, first of all, if you don't know what San Antonio Pets Alive mission is, so it's to provide programs and services that are needed to eliminate the killing of at-risk animals due to lack of space, due to lack of space, adopters, or fosters. So with that being said, I did want to introduce you to Christina Chandler. She's our Director of Operations. And you can see her at the top. And then
you can hear me.
also, yes, we did. And then next week, I wanted to introduce Priscilla Calderon and Ileana Arredondo. They are also part of our foster team. And then, of course, me, I'm Shelly Katie. I'm also part of the foster team. And then TK is actually going to be helping out the foster team off and on. She's our development coordinator, so she'll be helping out. You might be hearing from her off and on for different things. Okay, and so in a minute, I'm going to present a PowerPoint to just kind of focus on highlights of that puppy hound out that we emailed. But the next person that's going to talk for a few minutes is Sarah Parks. She has been fostering with SAPA pretty much since we started, correct, Sarah?
Yeah, minus 1 year, I think. Minus
okay,
1 year.
Okay. Do you have anything you want to first start off saying, Sarah, and then we'll get into the PowerPoint?
No, other than the reason we're doing this is, for me, I feel like the more you know getting into this, the better of a foster that you can be. And I think that we've just needed to step up our game as far as fosters go and being more vigilant, and because we're stewards of babies, fur babies, and they can't talk for themselves. And so that's kind of where we're coming at with this, that questions are better than going blindly, and just feel free to ask. I'd rather have what you might seem like a kind of a dumb question than to have issues later that we can't fix.
Yes. Okay.
That's it.
So thank you. Okay. So I'm gonna put up the PowerPoint, and then we'll just kind of touch on some basic points there. And so this is just mainly for fostering puppies, but a lot of it you can apply to, you know, whether it's adult dogs, maybe adult cats, but it's just basically for puppies, but not neonatals, not bottle baby puppies. But again, some of it may pertain to it, especially like when you're trying to set up the proper place. Okay, so let me, and again, this is kind of my first time doing a Zoom meeting, so I'm not going to be exactly perfect at this. Okay. Okay, so foster puppies. Again, I'm Shelley Katie, and Sarah Parks is the one that just spoke. Okay, so well, I know a lot of people don't know about the Parvo virus, so I just kind of wanted to start off with that really quickly. It's a highly contagious virus. It causes infectious gastrointestinal illness in puppies, dogs, and without treatment, it can be potentially deadly. So part of what makes it so dangerous is the ease of which it's spread through canines. So one of a lot of fosters or a lot of people in general don't know how to prevent this. So one of the things you have to pay attention to is how old your foster puppy is and if they're properly vaccinated. So you definitely don't want your foster puppy outside or in an outdoor area where people may walk with shoes on, or even inside, say, a PetSmart or a Petco or any store for that matter. You do want to keep your puppies isolated from your personal pets. And
hey,
I know a lot of, yeah.
Shelly, real quick, can you share your screen? Because all we, no ma'am. And then also, can you let Ileana in, please?
And also, if you're not speaking, if you can put your microphones on mute, it'll cut down on some of the background noise.
Okay, so you're not seeing the, Are you not seeing the?
No.
Go down, Shelly, to the bottom of the camera right there, and or of the bar, and it's gonna say, okay, there you go, share screen.
I thought I hit that, my fault. And I'm sorry, you said something about Ileana? Oh, okay. Well, she's a little late, so just a second.
Yes, if you can let her in, please.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Sorry. Okay, so you can see the PowerPoint now? Yes?
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Okay, now I went back too far. Oops, okay.
So this is a pretty good drawing of a couple of puppy faces.
Oh yeah. So back to Parvo. Also, your shoes can carry the Parvo virus. So you want to make sure you put your shoes up. And of course, they like to chew on them also. So that's another good reason why. But since they do like to chew on shoes or pretty much anything, definitely want to put your shoes up just in case you happen to bring in the Parvo virus on your shoes. Okay. So, and we'll talk more about
my
other
role
things
when
about
I was doing puppies.
Go ahead.
Yes. Oh, sorry. So my rule about with puppies when I had them is they were in a separate room, and whenever we walked into that separate room, our shoes came off. So they weren't even in the room where we were going to handle the puppies. And our feet never went into their kennel space or their floor space with shoes on.
Okay, great tip. Okay. And so, Sarah, I know you do puppies now, mostly that are allowed outside with paws on the ground, but when you did puppies before that,
Yes.
I mean, that were no paws on the ground, did you always keep them separated? I mean, always kept them in a separate room?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. So I had an office that we designated the puppy room. We threw down, I found a wonderful thick yellow rubber mat, checked the floor. We built a corral and then a kennel attached to it. So the puppies would be in their bedding, their food, their water was in the kennel, and they had a corral to go out and go potties in that nobody else went into. The dogs didn't ever go into that room. It was a no-no. That we totally kept them separate. There was no way that they could have contamination from parvo or from anything else.
Okay.
If you don't mind interrupting really quick.
If they came out in my arms or in my child's arms, and they didn't sit on anything that the other dogs sat on, we would lay down a blanket, put them on top of that blanket, again, protecting them from anything that my dogs might have possibly brought in on their paws, especially parvo. Y'all don't want to mess with parvo. It stinks and it's heartbreaking.
Remember how we
Okay.
bought that one there at Parvo?
I think a good way to think about it is anytime you come in and out of a parvo ward, you need to disinfect your feet. You need to disinfect anything that gets in touch with that. So when you're outside in an environment, you're not sure what you're in. When you walk through soil, you don't know if there was poop there before. You don't know what there is. So it's really good to always treat it like it's an isolated, sterile environment. Always wipe your feet, clean your feet. And I think Sarah's great on saying, you know what, nobody comes in there, nothing comes out being sterilized.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, great. So, and I know I've seen on the foster forum, and a lot of people don't know for sure, like how to set up a space for a puppy. So, one of the things I know, well, a lot of fosters do is they either use a large kennel or they get some kind of X pin like you see on these two pictures here. And, you know, it needs to be big enough to where they have a space, you know, for their bed, for a litter, pee pad, maybe even a little kennel to where or a crate where they feel kind of safe. Go in if they, especially in the beginning when they might be a little bit scared. And then a place for their food and water. I know that's kind of a big place, but or a big pen. I don't have one that big, I have a large kennel though that I can find in. But even if you have a spare bedroom that could just be for the puppies, and so that you would have you know, just like a big X pin like you see there, just a space for the pee pads, their bed, their food and water.
He's good.
Yeah, okay.
They will eventually, they're not going to be potty trained right away, so they do need a space away from their bedding and their food and water, and they'll eventually learn to go in that spot or a particular spot. A lot of times if you're maybe strapped for cash and you can't run out and buy a kennel, a lot of times our wonderful fosters on the forum, if you borrow one, a lot of times they'll loan you one. You can also look on, you know, like Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp. A lot of times people are selling kennels or maybe even X pins fairly cheap. I also wanted to point out, we have some really great fosters. So Sarah Parks, who's Melissa Kristen has been fostering puppies. Goldie Coventry has been fostering puppies for a very long time, whether it's bottle babies or older puppies also. And Amy Breedemus also fosters puppies, and she's a really great foster for fostering mom and pups. And actually Melissa is too, if you decide to go that route one day. Okay, so. Let's see here. Oops. So, things to think about before you actually bring home your foster puppy or dog, even if it's an adult dog, you know, even though I know we're talking puppies here, but think, you know, do I have a crate or an area that I can block off or just designate as a quarantine area? Do I have a leash, a collar, a harness, if the puppy's allowed to have paws on the ground? And then also think about your ride when you pick up the puppy. I know a lot of fosters have asked if they can borrow crates or kennels, but honestly, we don't have very many kennels or crates to borrow. We're always using those for our animals that are on site or, you know, one of our locations. So if you don't have a kennel or a crate to take them home in on the ride home, definitely bring someone with you so they can hold the puppy. Otherwise, you may have a puppy rolling all around your back seat or, you know, possibly going to the bathroom. But, you know, if you have someone that can hold them and secure them, they'll usually stay, you know, pretty quiet and still. Okay. Sarah, did you have anything to add to that slide? That past one? No? Okay. We might have lost Sarah, I'm not sure. Oh, there you are.
Melissa also did say blanket for the ride home, usually a dirty one because they're going to get dirty, is a good tip.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, having somebody hold the dog is a whole lot better than having them roll around on your floor and make a mess. Like you said, they tend to settle down a little bit better. I mean, I do the crate as much as possible because it's usually I'm alone. And it's just a safety issue more than anything else. Plus, they're going to have to get used to crate anyway.
Right. Okay.
And I would
so
strongly suggest you invest in a couple of harnesses that you have with you. Harnesses, dogs walk better with a harness than with a choke collar. It's less combative, and so it especially on puppies that or dogs that can be paws on the ground, that's a good way to start them into getting used to walking is having a harness on. They're not fighting with a choke chain or anything like that.
Okay. Okay, so you've got your foster puppy, so now what? You definitely, if you have personal dogs, you know, you have to quarantine the foster puppy from them for at least around 10 days. So when you bring home your foster puppy, be sure to have your dog, your personal dogs, you know, either outside or in another bedroom. They need to come home and be able to decompress, and that might be a little bit hard to do when there's other animals present. So, you know, when you bring home your puppy, you know, let them explore your home without interference from your personal pets. And again, make sure that your pets are completely out of the way because again, you have to quarantine them. I know, and most puppies adjust really well to being in a home. Okay. Go ahead, Sarah.
Yeah, explain why we quarantine. I think it's wise to explain we don't quarantine for disease control because unless you've not had your dogs vaccinated properly, that's not the issue. It's more behavior issues than it is anything else.
Right.
Is that correct?
Yes, we do. Yes, it is both. We want to quarantine just to keep your personal pets safe. But again, if they're up to date, they should be fine. But we also want to, keep the puppy or adult dog from getting anything also, just in case your dog maybe happened to have something. But also for behavior, we want to make sure that they've had time to decompress. If you bring home a puppy and then after one day you try to introduce them to your personal dogs, things could go south just because they're scared, they're nervous. Your dogs are going to be excited. And especially with the puppy, puppies like to jump and play and depending on their personalities. But most puppies I've had are not too shy. They want to start playing with my personal dogs right away once the quarantine is over. So you want to just keep them separated. So again, just puppy has time to decompress. Okay, so then when the quarantine period is up, you actually get to introduce your personal dogs to the foster puppy. So you definitely want to introduce them on neutral ground. Front yard, backyard, I know there's going to be a lot of smells there already, so maybe try to do it in the front yard. If that's not possible, take them to the backyard. But again, that's if puppies are allowed, I know, to have paws on the ground. So if they're not, I would just try to have it in a space, in a bigger space.
Well,
in
if
your
they're not
home.
paws on the ground, they're not going to be meeting. If they're no paws on the ground, they're not going to be meeting your puppies anyway. Right?
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. Sorry, there's just so many different ages of puppies. That's true. So
yeah,
if there are no puppies, no paws on the ground, then
it's not age
quarantined area.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. So back to introducing or introductions. So if they are paws on the ground, though, which a lot of you will get at some point, you want to make sure that do slow introductions. Never leave the personal puppy or adult dog even unattended, and just leave them in your house while you leave with your personal pets. You never know what could happen. And then, and of course, in the beginning of introductions, don't ever just, always have your dogs on leash. That way they don't rush over and greet the new foster puppy and scare them, or, cause them to get anxious, nervous, and maybe have a little fight happen, possibly.
And this is where it comes in to really know your pack and know which animals that you can trust to do what you need them to do. 2 of mine are the only ones that ever go outside and meet in the front yard because they can't off leash. I can trust them. I can call them back, whatever needs to happen. They're the first dogs that my foster meet because I know that they're going to be welcoming. And they're the most positive. So that's what I do when I have a dog that I bring in. My 2 dogs meet them first before we do anything else. And then we worry about meeting everybody else later. But they have a positive experience coming into my house on a leash with Butter and Hans walking in with them, if we can do it that way.
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah. Okay. We'll go ahead and stop here, and then I'll leave it. I'll put up the chat. So if you have any questions, you can ask us. All of you were emailed the foster puppy handout. And I didn't put the last part of it on the PowerPoint just because it's just additional information, how to get your current foster puppy's medical records, who to contact if you're having medical issues, if you need to make an appointment to our med clinic, where to send pictures and bio information. That's all on that handout, but it's also all, you know, on different emails that we've sent you if you have already actually fostered a dog or a puppy or even a cat or a kitten. All of that information you have received. But if you need it again, you can definitely ask us for it. And if you have any questions, you can always ask us or email us at foster@sanantoniopetsalive.org. That really is the best way to get a hold of us. We monitor the foster forum as much as possible, but say that there's times when we get, you know, we have a ton of emails that we have to answer, so we can't always check it as often as we'd like, but your best bet is to email us because we do monitor those all day. So let's see, let me get out of here. And then let's see here if we have any questions.
Here we go. Now I can see everybody. Took me forever.
If you guys can't see the chat at the bottom of the Zoom call, there's a little button that says chat. If you click that, it will open up another window and you can type in your messages there so the foster team can read them or Shelly can read them and answer.
Yes, I can see them.
So we had one question I saw, but I didn't get to read it fast enough. Something about vaccinations.
Let me see.
Yes, a question was asked. Rebecca asked, where do we post the vaccination schedule?
Oh, okay. So when you foster a puppy, in the handouts you get, there should be a schedule on there. It's not going to have an exact date because that's just going to depend on how old your puppy is. But there should be in like whether it's a neonatal kitten guide or a foster puppy guide, there should be a schedule in that handout that says when they need them. It's also in the SAPA foster handbook.
There will also be vaccination due dates if everything is entered on our end correctly in the Shelter Love medical records, and those will either be printed out or emailed. If you guys don't get those, always email. You can email the foster team, you can email paperwork at, you can email any staff member and we can easily get you that. On the Shelter Love medical, it gives you when the vaccinations were due and the next due dates. For puppies under 5 months of age, vaccines, the distemper parvos are always due 2 weeks separated from each other. They will also get a dewormer every 2 weeks, and flea and tick and heartworm prevention starts at 6 weeks of age and is always monthly. And you want to make sure that you don't skip any of those, because especially for the heartworms, because they can contract heartworms at a young age still if the preventative is.
What about the dewormer? Does it start at 4 weeks?
The
So
dewormer starts at 2 weeks.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead, or I'll answer. Okay, so the dewormer starts at 2 weeks of age, and it is given to puppies under 5 months of age at every 2 week intervals. The dewormer we give is just a generic dewormer, so it doesn't take care of, say, tapeworms. That needs a special medication. Tapeworms are look like rice grains in the stool. Adult dogs over 5 months of age, Actually, it would be 6 months of age, because we still consider 5 months, 29 days, 5 months old. So over 6 months of age, they get the dewormer monthly when they're fostering for us.
Yes. So someone else had said, is there any signs of illness we should be looking for? So with older, since we're talking about older puppies, but I mean, it could pertain also to the neonatals, the bottle babies. You know, if a puppy has diarrhea one day, that doesn't mean you have to, you know, rush them to our medical clinic and, you know, that's not necessarily an emergency. You just want to see, okay, are they eating? Are they drinking? Puppies do get diarrhea off and on, but, you know, if it continues all day and then into the next day, then I would, you know, email foster medical. And all our emails are, you know, something at sanantoniopetsalive.org. So to ask to pretty much get a fairly quick answer, you can email fostermedical@sanantoniopetsalive.org. And we have a volunteer who's a retired vet tech, and she'll help you answer. And then she'll decide, she'll kind of make that judgment as to whether or not she thinks you should email our medical clinic or make an appointment for them to be seen. But, you know, so yes, diarrhea, if it goes on for more than one day, if they stop eating, drinking, if they become lethargic, if they just don't seem to be acting their normal selves, you know, I would definitely, like I said, email foster medical and take it from there. I don't know, Sarah, have you, or, I'm sorry, I was just gonna say nasal discharge. Yes.
Yep. Yeah. And stay on it. The medical folks are really good about, you know, you give them a med for, like I had Lobo, and it didn't seem like what they were giving him was cutting his cough. And so I got back with him. Don't wait until the meds run out. If you feel like it's just not doing, you know what meds do. When you take an antibiotic, in 2 or 3 days, you start to feel better. Your symptoms start to go away. And it's the same way with puppies or dogs. If their symptoms aren't really going away, it's okay to call back and say, I don't think this is working. And talk with their vet tech people, and they're real good about, you know, if we need to dovetail and do 2 different meds, we'll do 2 different meds. Or it's not that they want to skimp, but if we don't have to give more meds, then let's not. But if we do, they'll be more than happy to help you find that out and figure that out. But don't wait till the very last med. Like if you've got 10 days of medicine for especially antibiotic and it's not working, don't wait till the 10th day to say it's not working, because you're just putting that animal in jeopardy for that much longer.
Someone was asked, okay, so I think somebody's confused. So puppies will get their first vaccination, heartworm prevention, and flea and tick at 6 weeks of age. And then every 2 weeks after. Oh, okay, I know Christine already said it, but they'll start at 6 weeks old. And then the vaccinations are every 2 weeks. And then again, the heartworm and flea prevention is once a month. But dewormer starts at 2 weeks old. And I think someone just posted that. Okay. Okay, so another question is, when should a puppy foster email to make an appointment for spay and neuter? So when a puppy turns 2 months old and is at least 2 pounds, which, most of them will be 2 pounds by then. That is when you will email schedule medical at sanantoniopetsalive.org. As long as they're healthy and they don't have any restrictions. So some fosters will get either post-parvo puppies or say puppies that were on suspect or like parvo watch, or they were suspect parvo, or possibly on a distemper watch or post-distemper. Those puppies have a little bit longer to wait. They have to be in your home for either 2 or 4 weeks. And that's information you will know ahead of time when you foster. Because you will get some puppies that are already like maybe 2, 3, 4 months old, but again, they just came out of parvo or they were suspected to have distemper or parvo. Then again, you'll have restrictions on how long before you can schedule them. But typically, if your puppy is healthy and it didn't have any illnesses, once they're 2 months and 2 pounds, at least 2 pounds, and they're healthy, that's when you'll email schedule medical, and then you'll hear back from as to when, with a date as to when they can get spayed and neutered. And since a lot of things have changed, since COVID-19, at the bottom of every single one of I know everybody sends out emails, all kinds of emails from SAPA, especially the foster team. But at the bottom of every email you get from the foster team, there's a blue link that says, and I should have this memorized by now, I think it says SAPA COVID-19 procedures and protocols. And in there, if you click on that, we update it as it changes. It'll tell you how to make medical appointments, what to do to schedule for the spay and neuter surgeries, and also how to proceed with adoptions, because everything is a little bit different from before all of this took place. So that's definitely, just click on that link at any time. But again, if you forget or not sure where to find something, just always email us at foster@, and we can help you. Let's see here. I don't want to leave out any questions.
Just know that when we are using pet shots right now, I can speak from experience again today. It is a long process. Plan for pretty much your whole day to be taken with pet shots. You sit and they don't open up the doors until 8:30, and it may be, I got there at 7:30. I didn't leave until almost 9:30. And I was one of the first of 10 people in line. And the same goes for when you go to pick up again. You go and you sit and you wait for them to pull you in one at a time. I was there at 4. I didn't leave until about 6:15. So plan for your day to pretty much be shot, especially in the early morning, in the morning, and then the afternoon.
Something to kind of add a little bit. Something to kind of add though about pet shots is that they're working as efficiently as possible. The staff is really nice, and there's always that question of whose info do we put on the paperwork. The way that I was doing it when I was dropping them off was I was putting down the adopter's information at the top, since I already had it with me, and then I'd put my phone number. Some fosters are asking if it's supposed to be the medical stuff or Marbach that's supposed to be on there, the foster's information. What exactly is it that's supposed to be put on there, just to ensure that the right information is on there?
Good question. I always put as a foster, I put my name, because until I turn them over to the adopter, they're my responsibility. So I'm the one dropping them off. I'm the one picking them up. My name and nothing of the adopter goes on that paperwork. That's my take on it. I don't know if there's any other take on it. I don't know about when people transport, how that works, but as a foster, that's what I do. I put my name and my contact information, and that's it.
Okay.
Because the adopters can't pick up.
Yeah. No, exactly. It needs to be,
So-
somebody who had the dog
I'm the
transferring
only
them
one who can
over.
pick up, so.
Yeah, no, I definitely understand, making sure that the dog is technically, your responsibility up until it goes to the foster.
I think one of the things we did have some fosters reach out to us that they were concerned about was having their private information on there. So I have done, and we all do it separately. If you feel comfortable with your private information going to the adopter, I mean, that's your prerogative. If you don't want it to be there, I have asked pet shops before when I've gone down there what they want. They want my name. So I put SAPA, care of, and then I put my name and I put my number. I had asked them, does the address matter? And they're like, no, we just need your name and your number where we're going to reach you. I put the adopter's address.
Okay.
Just, you don't have to, but if you have privacy concerns or anything, Pet Shots is fine with that.
Okay, good to know.
Yep. Let's see here. So
Shelley, can you address that last question from Kim about the best
Yes.
practices for parvo?
that's what I was just, that's what I was just looking at. I was trying to see if somebody typed something back to her. So someone's asking best practices for parvo or distemper suspected fosters. Should we use disposable puppy pads even if they're older and paws on the ground? So I'm not a vet tech, so I'm not sure if I can answer everything to that, but with any puppies that you bring home that you know are suspect parvo, suspect distemper, or even had confirmed distemper at one
You
time.
won't have suspect parvo come home, period. There won't be suspect parvo puppies ever come home.
Well,
They don't, if they're suspect parvo, they don't let them go.
no, I mean, like they were suspect at one time.
Mhm.
At one time.
Oh, at one time. Then
Yeah.
they're still considered no paws on the ground. They treat them like a regular puppy that's no paws on the ground.
Right, right. So if a puppy's had parvo, then they can go outside. They can be on the ground, even if they're 2 months old. But if they've only had distemper,
Correct.
not parvo, and again, depending on their age, they cannot go outside. So I don't want people
Correct.
confused about that. If they're
Right.
post-parvo, meaning they've had parvo, they've been treated, they're perfectly fine, they can go outside. But if we say that a dog had been suspect parvo, that means they were suspected to have it, but they never actually came down with it. But so they cannot go outside. But you definitely want to keep those puppies quarantined from your personals, or at least the 2 or 4 weeks, depending on when or what they had at one time, whether it was distemper or parvo. And again, I
Well,
mentioned.
it won't matter as far as medical goes because your dogs have been vaccinated for it.
Yeah,
If you've taken care of your dogs, and
This is-
they won't get any of it.
this is true. It's just something we suggest just to be on the safe side. That way, I mean, they have to be quarantined 10 days anyways, at least. So
Right.
we just like to, if they were suspect distemper at one time, or suspect parvo, then we do say 2 weeks. But I'm trying to see what else she wrote. Let's see here. Okay. So I think we answered your question. Is there any info for people who foster parvo suspect pups? So again, if they were suspect parvo at one time, but they never came down with it, they cannot have paws on the ground.
Mhm.
And I would
Something
just,
to add to that, if you ever feel like at any point this might be, you get a puppy, they seem fine, and of course Marbach will look at them and they'll do so many tests, but until they start showing symptoms, for the most part, you won't even really notice. So if you feel like at any point medically like there isn't something right going on with this dog, you need to let the medical team know as soon as possible, so that not only can they tell you, also the fosters team, so that not only they can tell you how to proceed, but go into depth with you a little bit about, possible things to expect, what exactly you can do, because every single case is different for both distemper and parvo. Some dogs can get it really badly and unfortunately not make it. And then the distemper, of course, some can go as far as getting the ticks, and some of them don't even make it that far. So, each case is different, but I think too, making sure that you're reaching out and utilizing the foster team and the medical team to let them know if you have any questions or anything like that. Catching it as early as possible gives them the best possible chance of recovering and surviving from it.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things I wanted to clear up, and I don't know if there was a confusion when they had said suspect distemper, suspect parvo, is, and it's kind of like what Sarah was saying, is no dog is going to be sent to any foster where we even suspect parvo is something that's happening. Basically, suspect parvo just means it came from ACS. We thought it had parvo. It went through its quarantine period and it never, and you might hear us say something like POP, which just says it never showed signs of of parvo. So when you take that dog home, you're taking a dog that never had parvo. If you start seeing any signs, the dog get lethargic, not starting eating, you're going to call Marbach right away, because no foster, no home is equipped to deal with parvo. That needs to be in a medical facility, and that's the reason why we'll never let a parvo dog go home.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shelly, can we try to wrap this up? Sorry, I have to go personally. I'm sure other people have other things to do tonight.
Sure. Was there any other questions that we maybe didn't answer, or somehow I didn't, if I missed it on the chat?
Does puppy pads hold disease? I'm not sure if that was answered or not.
Do you mind if I answer that really quick?
Yeah.
Sure, I think you're distemper, right? So distemper can be passed through multiple bodily fluids. It can affect the urinary system, and because of that, if you have any dog with any distemper, you don't want them. Obviously, you don't, or even suspect distemper, obviously you don't want them around any of your personal pets, even if they're vaccinated. You still don't want them around your personal pets. But yeah, any potty pads, any thing that would have had any sort of bodily fluids, you want to make sure that you sanitize all that and get it out.
Okay. Right. Let's see. I think that's it. I think that's all the questions there were. And if there's something that somehow got overlooked, or you feel like maybe we didn't answer it, or you think you would like information about something, please reach out to the foster team, and then we can either answer it ourselves or direct you to the right person. But other than that, I guess that's it. Thank you, everybody, for your input. And Sarah, thank you for your input. And that's it.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Be safe.
You
Happy
too.
fostering.
Bye.